Hello, so welcome to this week's cook along. We've got a really nice kind of hearty warming menu for you this week. The starter is really simple. It's one of my absolute favourite things. It's a real rustic dish this. It's a kind of ribollita, which is a hearty soup that's from Tuscany. Usually it has big chunks of bread in it, but with I've left the bread out because that kind of makes it a little bit too heavy if you're having 3 courses. So basically, all you need to do is take this and warm it through, and just be careful because it's very thick. It's more like a kind of, I'm calling it a soup, but it's more really like a stew. So obviously it will catch. And then in addition to that, we've just got some cavolo nero that's pre-cooked. Just going to pop that in a minute. Some 36-month aged Parmesan cheese and some fresh parsley. Now, there's a lot of parsley here, but use it all because the parsley is quite an important flavouring in this. So just get that heated through. I'll put my cavolo nero in. Just knock that down. Want it to warm through now. So just make sure the beans are heated through. So obviously they are quite dense. Right, it's just about done now, so I'm going to add the parsley and stir that in. Just let it wilt down a little bit. We don't want it as kind of garnish, we want the flavour to give itself up into the sauce. Right, so I'm just going to plate it now. It literally is as simple as that. And if you want, if you've got some really aromatic olive oil, you can add that to it. I've actually used quite a lot of oil in here, so it's not essential. But we finish it with a generous grating of Parmesan. So there you go, the perfect kind of winter warmer really. A beautiful ribollita, Tuscan style. So one thing I should have said, and I forget to say this every single week, is before you do anything, get the oven on ready for your bread to heat your bread up. So I've got it on 175. It's going to take about 10 minutes and you get a nice crust on it. And that's the temperature we're going to cook this at as well. So we've got a really brand new dish. Wanted to do something quite wintry, but something a bit different. Everyone's doing everything the same, and I kind of wanted some different flavour profiles. So we've got some barbecued pork belly. I made this sauce, which is kind of, it's based on kind of red braised pork, which is a traditional Chinese dish, which is delicious. But I wanted to kind of serve it with mash and stuff. So it's also got wine in here. It's got Shaoxing wine and French wine as well. It's got a lot of spices in here. So it's star anise, ginger, garlic. It's also got beef stock, etc. We've got some Joël Robuchon style mash, really rich, indulgent mash. Some homemade pork scratchings. A little bit of broccoli, and this is just an apple that we've stuffed with some sausage meat. So the first thing you need to do is pop this in the oven, let the sausage meat cook through. So it's not going to take long at 175, give it about 7-8 minutes, up to 10 minutes. And then everything else is really easy to bring together. So there's a lot of, it's quite a lot of people doing pork belly on these cook-alongs, and generally they tend to kind of braise them in the oven. But what I've heard feedback from other people is they tend to dry out and stick. So been experimenting. I think the best way to actually warm this up is to just do it in a microwave. So I'm just going to put a little splash of water on it, just to create a little tiny bit of steam. And literally when I say a splash, I just literally mean a splash. So you need to microwave it in pulses. Just put the lid kind of semi on. I'm just going to give that just over a minute, then I'll let it settle, then I'll do it about another minute, and that'll be right for one portion. Obviously it's going to take slightly longer, 2 portions. If you're unsure, just test the centre of it. If you've got a probe, shoot at 75 degrees. If you don't have a probe, just stick a knife in there, and then when you touch it on your top lip, it should feel hot. So while the apple and the pork meat is in the oven, we're just going to cook the broccoli. So this only takes 2 minutes to cook. So I've shown you, some of you before that have seen these videos, how we cook broccoli, and basically it's what we call an emulsion. So small bit of water, a pinch of salt, quite a lot of butter. You just stir that around until it kind of starts to emulsify, until the butter's melted. This is on the full highest heat. Okay, and when all the butter's emulsified, throw the broccoli in on a high heat, stick the lid on, and then set a timer for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. We want it nice and al dente. And while that's on, I've just warmed up the mash here. You can do it in a pan or in a microwave. If you're going to do it in a microwave, which is probably the best idea actually, just do it in little bursts. So do it 1 minute, stir it, do it another minute, stir it. If you've got a full pot, obviously you might need to transfer it to a larger container, but try to not overheat it because it can go a little bit kind of overworked if you do. So my broccoli has been cooking for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes exactly. Mine is quite small, so it's kind of well cooked. If yours is a bit thicker, just test it with a knife. It should go in, but still be quite kind of al dente. If it's quite thick, it might need another minute. So what I'm just going to do now is take this out, and I'm just going to drain it off. So meanwhile, I've also warmed the sauce up. So again, you can do it in the microwave or you can do it in a pan. But we're going to plate up now. Just give me 1 second, we're just going to get a plate. So we're going to plate it up now. So we've got our mash. And then you'll see the mash is really, it's got a real kind of silky texture to it because it has, as you probably guessed, a ridiculous amount of butter in it. So it's unbelievably rich. This you really don't need a lot of this at all. I'm going to actually put the pork on top, just because I like that kind of rustic sort of presentation really, and we'll anoint it with some of the gravy in a minute. So I've got my apple stuffed with sausage meat there, my broccoli. I'm just going to pour a little sauce over the top. This sauce is incredibly strong, so you can always add a little bit more, but just initially just put a small amount on. And then we just got some homemade pork crackling to pop on there. I like a lot of crackling, so I'm going to be generous. So there it is. Barbecued pork with Robuchon mash. So on to dessert. So we wanted to do something that's quite indulgent, but you've had 2 really heavy courses, so we're kind of putting a little bit of lightness into it as well. So the main element here is it's an olive oil and pistachio cake that's made with citrus, etc. We've got a chocolate sauce here that's made with vanilla. I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on a plate. Not too much. So there's extra here. You're not going to need it all, but you can, use it on your pancakes or whatever. And then I'll stick this cake on top. And then just got a selection of berries, so blackberries. I like raspberries, so I'll put a few of those on. You got some blueberries as well if you're so inclined. And then we've got, this is a cherry coulis. So it just lifts it, just makes it a little bit lighter. It's quite acidic. Now I've just put it into a squeezy bottle, but you don't have to bother. Obviously, you can just drizzle it over the top. Just gonna put a little bit on it. So thanks so much for everyone who supported us. Customers have been absolutely amazing. Some people have ordered meals every single week. It's really, really, really helped us out. We can't wait to get back open again. If you could share your meals on social media, I'd really appreciate it. So it's the_kitchen_and_cook on Instagram, Gourmet Dining Room on Facebook, or Michael Price. Thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. Take care.